from Youth Diplomacy Forum. I am Isan Khan and welcoming you all on the second day and concluding session of our 2-day international conference on the importance of SDG goals. So yesterday we were able to discuss and listen to our esteemed speakers. Out of those speakers, Ms. Rani is also here. We were able to discuss 11 SDGs. So we shall be following with the remaining today. Our first speaker for today will be Professor Cliff Lilangan. He is a professor at School of Arts and Design in the Holy Angel University, Philippines. He'll be talking about Sdg number 3, which is about good health and well-being. Over to you, Professor. Stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Permission to share my screen.
Yeah, it is being granted.
Okay. I hope everybody can see that.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, first of all, I'd like to greet everybody a pleasant afternoon, especially there in Pakistan. I also would like to thank my dear friend from Greece, Professor Lampu, for serving as the bridge and inviting me to speak about these two SDGs. So I have chosen number 3, which is about good health. Now, we know that the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals actually are intended for each participating country to make sure that these SDGs are met and are afforded by each nation or government of nations. Now, we will talk about good health here because each country desires that all its citizens, all the people living in their place, would really have vibrant, good health. And who doesn't want good health, right? Everybody desires good health. I'll show you here some specific ways for all of us, for each country to be able to have that desired good health. Now, we know that Sdg number 3 of the United Nations talks about ensuring healthy lives and the promotion of well-being for all people at all ages. So I have here researched the 7 laws of radiant health. I'd like to share this with you. I took this from Mr. Herbert Armstrong, actually, when he was the chancellor and the founder of the Ambassador College before. All right, so first one, for all people, members, nations, or whether they are members of the United Nations or not, well, it will help that each country, all the citizens observe proper food and diet. Now, we know that at least 90% of all sickness and disease is either directly or indirectly related to what people eat, right? That's why we are what we eat. If we eat healthy, then that will reflect on our overall being. If people are healthy, for example, in one country, then there would be less need for doctors. There would be less need for nurses. There would be less need for hospital services. It makes sense that proper food and diet would actually help individuals, would actually help people perform better. Any country, any institution, any company greatly desires that its people, its employees are healthy. So that's the first step of radiant health. Radiant. So it's health that radiates, that glows. All right. Next one is, of course, cleanliness and dress. We know that proper and regular bathing and wearing clean clothes contribute not only to a clean physical body, but also protects us from disease carriers. So our immune system becomes stronger if we observe the proper and regular bathing. Now, the United Nations greatly wishes that each country does its best, okay? Well, I understand that weather and climate plays a role here. Some countries, for example, in the Scandinavian, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, The people there do not regularly take a bath because it's extremely cold, especially during winter. That's understandable. Okay, I'm not saying that each one should regularly bathe every day because it's on a case to case basis. But proper dress, clean dress and cleanliness contribute to good health, radiant health. And this is another sustainable, take note, it's sustainable, able to be sustained, that would reach for many years, that would help the generations of young children know about proper and regular bathing. That's cleanliness. The third step is actually sunshine and fresh air. We know that most people take in enough air to sustain life, but not enough to live it vigorously. We need the sun. We need the fresh air, especially during this pandemic, COVID-19. I don't know, but some people are afraid of the sun. They don't like the sun. They shy away from the sun, but we know that vitamin D is extremely important for overall being. Now, I understand I'm given 10 minutes for this. That's why I made sure to go straight to the point of the discussion. This is part of good health that the UN really wants each country to actually have, the citizens of each country. That's a third practical step. You see, sunshine and fresh air. Perhaps we could go near the beach, or we could go to the beach. We could have mountain climbing, where you could actually go and see the blue mountains, green fields, and inhale fresh air and bask under good sunshine. That would be so helpful to everyone. This is another SDG that must be met, because once we have good health, then it will affect our overall well-being. Even our disposition, even our behavior becomes different when we are healthy. Fourth practical step, how to have radiant health, is actually exercise. When we exercise, we build a strong, supple, graceful body. But we know it requires effort. It's really hard work, right? It's hard work. But once we get into the habit of exercise, probably twice or thrice a week, we could jog or just walk. Brisk walking. These may be small things, but they do contribute to good health. It's part of ensuring health among its citizens. Now, the UN will not force the country to follow its directives, right? But let's go to the cause. Why do people get sick in the first place, right? I mean, getting sick is the effect. Let's go to the cause. Maybe because there's lack of exercise. All right? It may be so simple, but a country, the citizens of a country that do exercise show. Now, when I was in Taiwan, I was amazed when I saw a lot of old people, senior citizens, exercise. It's not an excuse for them to just sit because I'm already old, I'm 60, I'm 70. When you see them all over the place, when you go to the parks, they are there. They would exercise their famous Tai Chi. That's how they take care of themselves. There are many senior citizens working in the museums, acting as curators. So they are still employed even at their old age. And these seniors do their best to exercise each morning. The fifth law that Mr. Armstrong actually shared to have vibrant health is actually sleep and rest. It's very important. When we deprive sufficient sleep and rest, then we will not be able to accomplish a lot. We will feel groggy. We will feel tired. We do not feel very productive at all, because this one is important, right? I mean, if we begin with the family is the basic social unit, right? It's the basic social unit. We start with the family. I mean, it's so easy to say rhetoric, okay, this country, you do this, you do that. But everything boils down to the family, doesn't it? Everything boils down to what the father, the mother, the children do in that family until it will have a domino effect. One family does these things, another family. Well, the nation is just an expansion of families, is it not? Right? It's called a nation because it's an expansion of families. So sleep and rest, according to Mr. Armstrong, are indeed very, very essential for a family to be healthy. So healthy families absolutely lead to healthy nations. The sixth one is avoiding bodily injury. Okay, we avoid bodily injury. One careless moment can ruin our health and physical well-being. That's why we strive hard to avoid getting injured. This is also another way to maintain health. Remember, the UN SDG, it's a goal, right? It's a goal, it's an aim. We try to reach for that goal. It's an objective. So it means not everybody does it, right? Not everybody does it. If people strive hard to avoid getting hurt or getting injured, then it makes sense again that people are healthy because they are away from things that harm their bodies. They take care of their bodies. The more they take care of their bodies, the more productive they are at work. The more productive they are at work, the more the employers and the government or the private companies are able to help them, right? So far we have covered 6 practical steps or laws of radiant health. Okay, we'll go to the seventh. The seventh law of radiant positive health is we need to strive to build a positive mental attitude. Right? It's sad to say that during this pandemic, many people have committed suicide. I haven't checked the statistics there in Pakistan regarding people who have committed suicide, but many countries in Asia, many people during the pandemic, even here in the Philippines, it was reported those who lived alone in condominiums have a tendency to jump. Why? Because they became so depressed during the pandemic. Perhaps their businesses closed, right? Perhaps they owed money, big money for their business only to find out that their business was closed. That is why they became depressed, or maybe other instances, right? We have to do our best to overcome thoughts of hate or hatred, strife, and worry. Having all of these things from the start, okay? We started with proper food and diet. I'm just trying to recap these things here. And then next is cleanliness and dress. Third one was sunshine and fresh air. We talked about this. Fourth law is exercise, practical step. And then fifth is sleep and rest. Sixth is avoiding bodily injury. And the seventh is building positive mental attitude. These steps may be so simple, yet if each family of each country strives to apply this one, then it will actually grow. It will influence other families, other individuals to do the same. Positive examples affecting people, impacting people. Isn't that what the United Nations aim for? That's why they have number 3, good health and well-being. They try to ensure that countries observe that. That's why these are practical steps that we could actually do in order for these families to grow and expand and learn. And nobody does it perfectly. But if all families strive to do such things with the help of the government, with the help of the private sector, then number 3 will be reached or fulfilled. All right. So far that's for the SDG number 3. I'll proceed with SDG number 11 now. Do I get to finish this?
Professor Cliff Ransom,
Yeah, sure.
you can continue.
Okay, will I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. So here, pausing on a bit, we'll skip because other speakers will talk about 4 to 10. So let's jump to number 11, sustainable cities and communities. We all have been to cities. We all have lived in communities. We know, ladies and gentlemen, that cities and communities are the hub, are the focal point for activities. These cities and communities breathe life. The economy is dependent on this one.